Three common questions. Databases inside containers, running an SSH server inside a container, and something called port forwarding. These come up time and time again when I'm helping people containerize applications, so I wanted them to be in this presentation. We've already answered this, I'm pretty sure, as we've gone through. Yes, you can run it in here, but make sure the persistent data is going in one of these volumes that are mounted inside it, and you'll be fine. I run MySQL inside here every day. I run Neo4j, a graph database, inside here every day. You can do it, but they've got persistent volumes mounted. Hopefully I've already covered this one in detail. Put it in its own container. Those two rules of thumbs about co-locating and separating. Database is a good litmus test for that. Run them in their own container. SSH servers are much more interesting. When people start containerizing things, they're used to virtual machines and they're thinking, well, how do I log into the virtual machine to do maintenance or anything? Or, for Chef or Puppet to contact it to, Ansible is the one that goes over SSH. Chef and Puppet can, but they can also have their own daemons. How do we do that? I don't, but confession, I used to. And in the last couple of weeks, I've been tempted to go back to this. You can actually get a shell on any running container. You can tell Docker, here's a container ID, start a new process inside it. It doesn't touch the existing processes continue, but it also will start a shell for you. But I found that in the last few weeks, I've been having some bugs with that, which has affected my ability to use it. And I don't have those bugs if I SSH into anything. So as days I'm tempted. Docker and quality, when you use Docker a long time, it's soft, it moves forward at quite a rate, and so sometimes things break. Not as much as it used to, but sometimes things break. So it's something to be aware of. But the main reason I haven't got SSH in there is because in reality I can't actually use it. When I'm running containers, they're not directly addressable off a real network. There's something in the way, like a load balancer or a firewall or a proxy of some kind to proxy traffic off a real network onto a virtual network that only exists on that computer. So I've got to log into the computer they're running on in the first place in order to then SSH in. At which point I don't need to use SSH, I can use the normal Docker mechanism to start a shell up on there. And if I leave it out, it's one less thing to maintain. So that's the main reasons why. You don't need it. In reality, once you move away from your dev environment, you can't use it. Because if your containers are directly addressable on the internet, please write down your host names. I have some mining I want to do. And again, anything in your Docker files, you've got to maintain it long term, so cut it down. That's what I say. And finally, port forwarding. If you've read any Docker, like getting started guides, etc., you'll see port forwarding mentioned everywhere. The idea that when you run a server, you tell it, oh, there's a free port here, run the container on that port so I can talk to whatever's inside it on that port rather than its normal port. Okay? I don't do that. I've never done that. I always give my containers an IP address, so the software inside it is running on its normal port. I'm not messing about with that. And I just don't have problems at all. Not every piece of client software allows you to change the port it's talking to. Most of it does, but occasionally you'll find things that don't. And at that point, you're screwed. But everything expects to talk to something running on a proper internet address, proper IP address, sorry. So if you just run things as they're meant to be run, you just don't have any problems. You can create virtual networks inside Docker. That's what I do. Each dev environment for me has its own virtual network, so I can run multiple environments at the same time. And it's not a problem. Can't do that with VirtualBox and Vagrant because they don't make laptops powerful enough to run loads of them side by side. But you can do that with Docker containers because they're so lightweight.